What's going on, everybody? This is going to be an extremely inflammatory video. But, like I always like to say, like the question I like to always ask, do I give a flying fuck? No. Because I will say what needs to be said. I will say the goddamn truth. And as always, guys, whenever I use the term Sony guys or Nintendo guys or Microsoft guys, note that I'm always talking about the drones, the slaves, the ponies, right? The bots. Those are the people I'm talking about. I am not talking about the fan base. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm not talking about the enthusiasts. I am talking about the slaves. I'm talking about the people who only own PlayStation platforms. Not because they don't have the money for other systems, but because they hate the other systems. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. These are the people I'm addressing. So, the Sony fan base, you guys need to stop. You need to stop. Because it has gotten to the point where it is no longer even funny. It's not. It is sad. It is pathetic how easily, quickly, and blatantly you will contradict yourselves just to make the situation more convenient for you. But news came out today that Sony is forecasting a $1.1 billion loss, and they are going to cut 5,000 jobs on top of the 10,000 that they already cut back in 2012. I believe that was 2012. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been 2013, but I'm pretty sure it was 2012. And I'm on here on N4G, right? And people have been trying to report this news to N4G, submit to N4G, right? And it failed. Now, this isn't the first attempt. Look at this. This attempt was already made before, and that got failed. But the thing about this attempt is that this actually got approved. As you can see, it says approved 10 out of 10. So it actually got approved and was on, the proper pages or whatever, the Vita and PS3 and PS4 pages and whatnot. But before it got approved, I had made the comment. Oh, and get this. This first part of my comment, I didn't even say that. An N4G moderator actually edited my post. It actually changed what I said. But basically what I had originally said here was, wait, so when Nintendo is losing money, it gets instantly approved, but whenever Sony is, reporting, a huge loss, it gets combated to death. You see what I'm saying? So a moderator actually edited my post. It said, wait, this will get approved, and I have to make an off-topic comment about how it might not get approved. And then I have, now this bottom part, he didn't edit. But I was basically saying, even if gaming is the reason why Sony's in this hole, that doesn't mean that this information shouldn't be, rejected on N4G, because it is information about the well-being of a console manufacturer. You see what I'm saying? But so then I have a lot of douchebags down here talking about, it got accepted, get over yourself, and oh man, he has tears and stuff, and it got approved. Just because it doesn't get approved instantly doesn't mean it won't. So they're basically gloating like, haha, look at us, we're N4G, see, we're unbiased, we're fair, see, we'll approve the negative Sony news as well. But the funny thing is that after it actually gets approved, after, once again, already being failed before, but after it already actually gets approved, it gets failed by a moderator. And I find it hilarious how a moderator has the nerve to moderate my post and kind of, laugh at me at the fact it got approved, but then another moderator actually ends up failing it, proving my point. And I mean, look at all the reports. Look how hard it gets combated, right? Absolutely amazing. But if we go over to where Nintendo posts a loss, no reports whatsoever, it's all good. Instant approval. And that's not the first article, by the way. That was just one article. So here's nothing about negative Nintendo articles. A lot of duplicates will actually get submitted. So that wasn't the only article talking about Nintendo's cut in their forecast. You see what I'm saying? Nintendo Shokio can mean the end of Nintendo hardware. That was another article, based off of the forecast cut. How becoming a third-party developer could help Nintendo. That was an article made from the forecast cuts. Do you think we're going to see these articles for Sony? No. No. Absolutely not. And then we go over to IGN. Right? We have this whopping 1.1 billion figure, right? What is IGN's headline? Strong PS4 sales boost Sony's game division profit. And then subtitle, layoff 5,000 employees. Do you guys see, okay, first off, notice how they have it as a subtitle and not in the title of the video. And then, do you see the $1.1 billion figure anywhere? No. And if you watch this video, I haven't watched it myself, but let's skim through it. I'm pretty sure IGN doesn't even mention, okay, there we go right there, the strong PS4 sales boosts Sony's profit. And if we scroll, then they start talking about Assassin's Creed, and that's pretty much it. They don't even mention the $1.1 billion loss anywhere in here. Absolutely astounding. Absolutely astounding. Complete damage control. This is damage control. That is the definition of damage control right there, but they don't even mention it. That is pillowing. That is softening the blow. And if you guys go back to the video, if this is your first time watching my video, y'all, or you guys are brand new subscribers, go back and watch a video I made titled Nintendo to Go Bankrupt, Sony to Buy Them, right? It's a sarcastic title where I was pretty much making the point that everybody's focused on Nintendo struggles when they're nowhere near the extremity of Sony's. And yes, it's mostly in part due to the fact that, you know, Sony does a lot more things, but that doesn't change the facts. That doesn't change the facts. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. A lot of people try to say, oh, well, that, you know, it's because they do more in the gaming. Okay. Okay. You see how that means absolutely nothing? Stop the damage control. It doesn't change the facts. And because of IGN's title, where they failed to mention the $1.1 billion, actually had a lot of people posting to me this article. Well, what are you talking about, this $1.1 billion loss? You know, Sony's gaming division just made them a profit or whatever, you know, things of that nature. And in that video where I was talking about, you know, Sony to buy Nintendo, Nintendo's going bankrupt, whatever, I pretty much make the point that Sony, you know, has been selling buildings, they've been bleeding money for the past decade, yada yada, things of this nature, things of that nature, whatever. And if you go to the video yourself, you will see a lot of people are like, whoa, Shok, I had no idea that this information ever existed. I had no idea that Sony is even struggling this hard. And this proves the point I was saying in that video. That's because the Sony news doesn't get around as well as the Nintendo and Microsoft news. It doesn't, because of things like this. Failed. Because things like this completely covered up headlines. That is why a large portion of the Sony fan base is completely ignorant to just how bad their company is doing. Because you have people damage controlling, you have people covering it up, you have people simply ignoring the fact that they are struggling. Now, like I said in that same video, right? Sony is, I love Sony right now because they are more for their fans than Nintendo and Microsoft are for their respective fans as of right now. You see what I'm saying? Sony has made a lot of changes with the PS4 solely to appeal to their fans, nothing more. Solely to appeal to their fans. You know what I'm saying? So Sony has done a lot for their fans, and I appreciate that. So I guess that's why a lot of people don't like to make this news to be out such a big deal. But that is not justification. You see what I'm saying? The PS4 doing well, Sony doing a lot to appeal to their fan base. That is not justification to ignore facts. You see what I'm saying? And you got people like IGN, you got N4G mods, keep trying to keep this news under wrap. Like I said, I had people on Twitter, Facebook, after I made that video. Whoa, Shok, thanks to this video, I had no idea this information was out there. I had no idea Sony sold billions. I have no idea they lost so much money off the PS3. I had no idea they were selling the PS4 at a loss. which they are. Don't give me that $381 figure, guys, because that is not including the manufacturing. That's not including the distributing costs, the shares that they have to, do with the retailers. That's not including the marketing. Add in all that individually with each PS4 sale, Sony is actually losing money on the PS4. So they lost money on the PS3. They're losing money on the PS Vita, and they're losing money with each PlayStation 4 purchase. Each individual PlayStation 4 purchase. Sony has been bleeding for a long time, but a large portion of their fan base is either ignorant because this information doesn't come out, or they just simply refuse to ignore it. They see it, they ignore it, they deem it not a big deal because Sony. Because Sony is God. That's literally how these people think. And again, not talking about Sony fans, not talking about enthusiasts, talking about Sony freaking ponies. But one thing I love about my channel and what I do here, right? You guys know me. My channel is basically an argumentative channel. My channel is based off of either my facts, opinions, or opinions backed by facts. It's an argumentative channel. It's a channel about arguments, right? I love how whenever I make a video, the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks, I will have another example come out that proves exactly what I was talking about. And this is just another freaking example. How everybody is worried about what Nintendo is doing, and everybody is worried about what Microsoft is doing, and then they're just over there ignoring Sony's woes completely. Let's go to my YouTube subscription feed. A lot of freaking VG Bootcamp videos. You don't see that shit anywhere. You do not see that shit anywhere. Nobody's talking about it, right? Nobody's talking about it. If this was Nintendo posting a $1.1 billion loss, which is over 3 times the loss that Nintendo reported, this shit would be everywhere. Fact! It has nothing to do with how I'm a Nintendo fan. Nothing! It's a fact! Nobody can deny that. But let's get off of that. Right? In other news, the Order 1886 will not have multiplayer. Now, if you guys have following me on Twitter, if you have me added on Facebook, or if you watch my live streams, you guys know that this has been a game I have been extremely hyped for. I love cooperative games. I love games such as Left 4 Dead, Payday, and Borderlands, for instance, right? So, and maybe I was wrong, and along with everybody else, because it's not just me, this was everybody else apparently. Maybe we were wrong for assuming, but the game doesn't have multiplayer, so for a lot of us, the hype has absolutely been killed. But I mean, come on, people. When you see a game, right, where it showcases 4 characters, and then you see all these creatures coming around these 4 characters, you assume it's co-op, right? But apparently, the game is not going to have any form of multiplayer. It's going to be a standard single-player affair. And guys, pay attention. I'm not saying every game needs to have multiplayer. That's not what I'm saying. I just explained to you why I'm disappointed. Pay attention. I'm disappointed because I was under the impression that it would have multiplayer. Understand that. Okay, I'm not saying every game needs multiplayer. And at the same time, it's kind of one of those 3D World situations where this game is too perfect to not have multiplayer. You see what I'm saying? This game is perfect for it. It would be an injustice for this game to not launch with multiplayer. You see what I'm saying? And I'm legit, considering making a petition to actually get Ready at Dawn to delay this game to incorporate a cooperative mode, because I just feel that there will be nothing more badass than doing a horde mode against werewolves with three of your buddies. That would be fucking badass. This game looks awesome. I love the Victorian, the alternate Victorian style it has going on. This game looks awesome. And yes, I haven't seen footage, but it's being done by Ready at Dawn, which is a huge portion of ex Santa Monica employees, and Santa Monica is co-developing the game themselves. And Ready at Dawn did that handheld God of Wars and whatnot, so they're a great studio, right? That's like saying, oh, I haven't seen footage of a Retro Studios game. I know that Retro Studios game is going to be good. You see what I'm saying? I know that Naughty Dog game is going to be good. So don't give me that, oh, you haven't even seen gameplay footage bullcrap. You see what I mean? If it's a talented studio, you know the game's going to be good. But that's a huge disappointment, but that's not the main thing I want to bring to attention here, but it's the 30 frames per second part. And like the title of this article says from SheAttack.com, Sony fans, it's okay. It's okay. And this is what I'm talking about. The bullshit, the hypocrisy needs to stop. Because guys, what happens when an Xbox One title gets confirmed to be 30 fucking frames? It gets blasted. But the minute it happens for a PlayStation title, as the title of the article says, it's okay. And you actually have these N4G douchebags down here in the comment section talking about, I haven't seen anybody talking about 30 frames isn't acceptable, things that nature, yada yada. Bull fucking shit. Pull your head out of your asses. The N4G community is the epitome of Sony dronism, right? Sony ponyism. This is a stable of ponies. This is a ranch of ponies. Acres and acres of ponies out there grazing on the Sony grass. This is the epitome of corporate slavery. These dudes have the nerve to act like they haven't been blasting the Xbox One this whole time for having 30 frames per second games. Bullshit. And that just proves what I'm saying. That it's just another example. These Sony ponies, these drones, always switch up the situation to make it convenient for them. 30 frames is cool when it's on the PS4, and cool when it's on the Xbox One. I can't. If I had $5 for every single time I have seen a Sony dude say 30 frames per second should be unacceptable for next generation of hardware, I'd be fucking rich. But yet you don't see them griping about Shadowfall, which the single player runs at 30 frames, and don't say, oh, but the multiplayer runs at 60 frames. It reaches 60 frames, but that shit will dip all the way down to 28. I saw the frame rate test. It will dip down to 28. Usually it stays in the 30 to 45 range. So that's not even 60 locked. Not even close. So don't give me that. But it's just funny how people's standards change. And it's not just the Sony fan base, but they're the main perpetrators of it. And they're the most recent example, which is the reason I'm making this video. Fanboys need to fucking stop. You guys need to stop. The harder you try, the harder you damage control, the harder you try to alter things and change up your previous standards to make the situation convenient for you, it makes you look dumber and dumber and dumber as the days go by. You need to freaking stop. I find it hilarious how when the Wii U came out or whatever, right, it was a last generation system because it was running these games in 30 frames or whatever, or it was running these games in non-1080p, but then the Xbox One and PS4 come out and the same thing happens with them. Maybe it wasn't as to an extreme extent. I haven't went through and count the actual amount of games or whatnot, you see what I'm saying? But the same thing has happened with the PS4 and the Xbox One, but for some reason those are still next generation systems. And I'm not saying they're not. I'm just, you guys see what I'm saying? I'm just using your previous standards against you. Your standards which have now changed. Absolutely hilarious. Get the fuck out of here. Stop bullshitting. Wake the fuck up. Stop changing your standards. Stop being a fucking drone. Stop being a corporate slave. It is not that serious. You don't have to defend this shit to the death. You don't have to make a fool of yourself. That is it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.